And if there's a major problem anywhere, then I'm there. I don't refuse customers. My motto is, it's your business. We need to support it.
Welcome back to another installment of the Next Gen Case Study Series. In this episode, we have on Tony Mancini, who is the Business Development Manager at Colba.net, which is a telecommunications company based in Montreal. He's responsible for expanding the company's fiber deployment strategy in large multi-tenant buildings in downtown Montreal, and his role involves overseeing the deployment of optical fiber to enhance internet services and offering competitive packages to commercial and residential clients, which is why we're kind of excited to have him on because this is a new space and we're going to get to go a little bit deeper in a very specific market. Tony, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Devin.
So to kick things off here, I'd love to start with a kind of a Cole's Notes version of, your background, a bit of your journey, and what kind of motivated you to enter the space that you're in currently.
Um, how long do you want me to take? Well, I started my sales career with IBM back in '76, and I started with IBM. I worked for IBM for about 5 years, and selling their office products division. For some of the older people out there that are still in the history stage, it's called the typewriter that had the little element there with the ball. Then I progressed to work for a company that AES. They put the first screens on typewriters. And in 1985, I started working for a company called Memotech. If people out there know who Memotech is, they were the ones that bought BCE back in '85, and Bill, the president, tried to turn it into a Northern Telecom Bell, type situation, but it never worked out. I worked. We were a manufacturer of what they call assembler disassemblers, which one of the first telecommunication technology was a packet switching. Then they migrated the packet switching to frame relay, and I was involved in both. And back in '92, I kind of left Memotech for a little while. I went back in '92 because the the financial officer asked me to go back because they were losing all the sales. So that's what I did. And my career took off. Next, back in 1998, I worked. I was hired by Quebec, which was a telecommunications company out of Rimouski. They wanted to move out west, and BCE Tel, that originally BCE and Quebec became TELUS. So I opened up the office here in Montreal, and there was an opportunity because a company like Quebec or Rimouski, they're small town telecommunications company. They were part of the group. We found an opportunity in the school boards where the Quebec government at the time, there was 172 school boards here in Quebec. So the provincial government says, "Hey, we're going to give you some fast computers." And one of the IT directors in one of the school boards here in Quebec realized, and he told the government, he says, "Listen, you want to give us a Maserati? You want us to drive it on a dirt road? It's just not going to happen." So, so that's how we got involved into fiber. And I was involved in, I guess, all of 72 school boards. And I think right now, Quebec, I don't know what's happening kind of like in the West, but we have an abundance of fiber here in every little town, city, and what they call the MRCs here in Quebec, due to the fact that the school boards initiated this, to give fast internet to the students in the school boards. Then we worked with Cisco, and we kind of lit up the fiber with their switches then back in the '90s. And I was fortunate enough with one of the Cisco salespeople to put the first voice over IP in one of the school boards here in Montreal. And when we got dial tone, I handed it over to the general manager and I said, "Listen, this is the first dial tone you get from a server." He kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
And so we took it from there. Bell came to Bell came to get me because I was sorry about the language, kicking their ass. I took away about $3 million annual of revenue because the data became the secondary and the voice became the primary because a lot of the school boards were using a lot of the Bell lines to do local calls. But when we introduced the technology, voice over IP, everything was local on the fiber. So they didn't need to spend $1.5 million every year on voice. So and kind of it bloomed, it blossomed. After a few school boards, Cisco was enjoying a 25% of all the IP phones sold in North America, right here in Quebec. So it kind of changed the landscape, you know?
Yeah, that's quite a launch to a business when you can kind of step into a space where there's just such a huge need and nobody there to fill the space.
Right, because the reason why the school boards couldn't do it alone because they're not a telecom company. Quebec Tel is a telecom company, so we had the license, and there was an engineering company that did all of the engineering. So this was like the first generation type deployment of fiber here in Quebec. Bell didn't know that it was just going to turn into a real dogfight, you know.
Right.
So and today, 20 years later, we have a lot of technology installed, and the last project I was involved in was the Université de Montréal, which is the francophone university here in Montreal. We took us 3.5 years to get the project. I was with Bell then because I moved over. They came to get me. I guess they made me an offer, couldn't refuse, you know. So being
Right.
Italian, I kind of accepted, you know. And we turned over at the time, I'm talking 2009, 2010, we turned over 5,000 APs, 6,500 voice over IP phones, and we redid all of their technology with Cisco. So my portion to deliver was about $41 million at the time. And that Bell said, thanks, but no thanks, Mancini. We're going to release you. And that's, when I kind of said at 58 years old, what do you do? So I started my own business as a freelance telecom consultant, and that's how I came across Joseph. And so at the time, Joseph was he had a network. He was the only company at the time back in '96 that put equipment into what they call the Bell COs, and we were supplying the first generation ADSL 2 Plus, which was high speed at the time, 24 down, one up, or three up, or four up. And we had access to I don't know how many doors in downtown Montreal. So he kind of hired me on a temporary basis. And, here I am in 2024, and I'm still working with Joseph, not only doing the fiber, but we're also here in Quebec, there's our cable company called Videotron. They offer a program called TPIA, which is a reseller. You can resell their services, and so that's what they do. But Colbanet is very different in the way that we offer that service. We're not a reseller on paper. Where you, Devon, you buy from me, I take 10%, Bell or Videotron take care of it. We built our own network. The modems that when we install a modem on the Viditron cable, we just use the cable to bring the transit to our data center here in Montreal. So we control the transit, we control our cost, we control the speeds, and if there's something they need support, they call us directly. They don't have to call us. Then we call Videotron or Bell or whatever.
I imagine that lends to a pretty unique customer experience. And thinking about, some of the early stories that you've already shared and how you kind of, this hard work and opportunity come together and you find yourself in a position to serve a very large collection of people
Mhm.
who desperately need these services. But then beyond that, I'm sure that you can't stay there as a business. You need to grow. So I'd love to get your perspective on Some of the things that you've done to acquire some of the more newer clients. Like, what is some of those strategies that you've deployed to help connect with new customers?
How should I start? Because we have because we have our own data center,
Hmm.
okay, and because we have a company here in Montreal called Fibre Noir. They were just bought by Videotron. They were bought for about 250 million. Videotron's business is cable. Fibre Noir is Fibre Noir. Their expertise is fiber. We sat with the salesperson at the time, Andrew, and we said we need more horsepower in our data center. So what we did is we negotiated a I don't have an example of the network, but we were the first company to install a 10 gig, okay, from what they call the TPIA server downtown right to our data center. Uh, Fibre Noir put together a 10 gig ENNI for us. So we have a 10 gig ENNI platform. And we negotiated with Cogent. Cogent is our transit supplier. They're one of the largest in the world. We were the first ones, aside from some of the data centers in Montreal, to put a 10 gig pipe that goes directly to the internet. So as far as the platform, as far as the horsepower that we have, we're good for years to come. So if one day Joseph wants to put the company on the market, like I told him, I said, you have an asset here. Going back to the fiber that we installed at the school boards, fiber is like owning a house. You have to notarize it, and it becomes yours, and it increases in value. So this is basically what I've done. And just to backtrack a bit, when I started my own business as a consultant, I was interviewed by let's see, Quebec. What is it? Travail Quebec or Quebec Works. And I said, well, what are you going to do? You want to start your own company? You want subsidy? What are you going to do? I said, well, listen, from my experience in being in business as a salesperson for large and medium-sized companies, I said, there's a lot of small businesses out there that are being crushed by companies like Bell, by Videotron, because they don't have the personnel that will go and knock on a president's door and bring the level of connection in the company a lot higher. And something I kept my word, and it's true. So now we have a good network. We have a very solid platform. Uh,
Tony, does that mean that people like the clients are coming to you more than you're going to them?
the fact is, on our fiber, okay, that we own, I did the initial cold call, okay, knocking
Okay.
on. My wife was saying, "What happened to your knuckles?" I said, "Bro," I said, Rafaela, I've been knocking on 50 doors a day. And after that, once you install the first, first 8, 9, 10, it's word of mouth. I'll give you an example. We have a building in Montreal. They're owned by Monet Management. Monet Management is one of the large real estate managers in Canada, if not in North America, aside from Cadillac Fairview. I worked with them. I got a call from their VP saying, because Mancini, you guys did a few buildings for me downtown, and I have this building up in North Montreal. I'm losing a lot of business. So I said, Pierre, I said, listen, I said, Bell will put $500,000 in escrow aside when before the building goes up. I said, we don't have that kind of money, so I'm gonna do a deal with you. I said, if you give me permission, I'm gonna knock on all 53 customers that you have in that building, and if I get a minimum of 10 people that will agree, then we'll put the fiber in. And that's what I did. So now. Out of 53, I think we own 44. And I put in the first five, the rest was all word of mouth with the building management.
Wow. So now with it sounds to me like, okay, we start with identifying, like a collective pocket of opportunity, and then you kind of farm that opportunity. Does that
The opportunity.
create like a volume challenge for your sales team after you start knocking on some of these doors? You have a lot of people coming through?
We need, we look at the amount of horsepower we need, speed we need to get into the building because once we're in the building, it's shared. So depending the amount of customers say, okay, fine. Because right now we have a 500 down, 500 up, which is a synchronous internet connection over fiber going to this building. And we have customers that are as low as 2510. We have customers as high as 200, 200. Depending on depending what your needs are.
Right.
Most of these companies are in the uh, tissue business. So a lot of them do design, and a lot of the designs of their files is very heavy. So they would need high speed. So and what we do is as we need the speed, we just increase it, you know. Or if you don't need the speed, then we lower it. So we control the destiny of the customers. But the building management is on our side. So every time there's movement, uh, they uh, they give them my name and I go in there and just and I sell them the product.
So, in terms of managing and maintaining these customer relationships, I wonder, is that something that you guys are facing as a challenge, or are you guys excelling in that area?
Well, in a way we're excelling, and in another way it's a little challenge because, as I said, Devon, we're not a multinational, we're not Bell,
Right.
not TELUS. And I have to keep Joseph in line. He wants me to go, and sell at CN. I said, Joseph, I'm not gonna go to CN. I'm gonna lose myself in there. And it's been 6, 7 months and getting nowhere. I said, we need to bite what we can chew. So yes, we have enough customers on the fiber that we could support, and there because we also have attrition. Customers move out, customers move in. So we have a pretty good support staff that keeps them pretty happy. And if there's a major problem anywhere, then I'm there. I don't refuse customers. My motto is, it's your business. We need to support it. And if you're down today, 10, 15 years ago when I started selling internet, people were saying, what the hell is that? Today, if we're down like 5 seconds, my phone rings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the difference, that's the growth, that's the expansion in that type of technology. Business depend on the internet. That's all it is. If you don't have internet today, you're not in business.
Right. So, what are some of the trends that you're seeing now with the advent of a lot of these newer technologies like AI, for example? Are you seeing that have an impact on the work that you're doing?
Well, AI, I'm really not sure because I install the pipe. What to do with that pipe is up to the customer. I install the pipe. We determine the speed that they need because right now everything is limited. Before, okay, it's 350 gig, 300, 100 gig, 200. So you were limited. But today, the market, like Bell, Videotrol, TELUS, it's all unlimited. So you can keep your internet on 24/7, and you're not going to be charged more than what you're going to be paying on a monthly basis.
Right.
So yeah, so for us is we supply the pipe.
I've heard a lot of in the way of these automations and things like that when it comes to a sales process or when it comes to like marketing and client acquisition. A lot of people are trying out new tools like chat bots or automations for email sequences and things like that. Is there ever a need for that in the work that you're doing, or is the relationships that you're building require a more like one-on-one type thing, or how do you see that fitting into the work that you're doing?
The way I look at it, the application is one thing. Okay, what you're talking about is called application. All right, I deliver the pipe. Now, whatever application you put on the pipe, I don't see. So it's up to you to tell me how many applications, how many people do you have working in your office? What are the ratios of the people using it at the same time? See, these are all factors they have to take into consideration to determine what the speed is. Because if you want to put a heavy application on my internet and you have very low speed, then forget it. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Now, I
Right.
think,
What I mean, Tony, to say is actually in a different way here. For you specifically in your business,
yeah.
how are you using these types of tools to like build and establish, maintain relationships with your clients?
Which app do you want to open?
Oh, sorry, man. Oh, somehow. Okay, there you go. My phone is
I
talking to
got
me.
your Siri going.
And to be upfront with you, Devon, right now we have a system. We have an order system.
Okay.
We have a provision department. Uh, we're not at the stage, or we're not large enough. And I've worked for companies where we use the automated sales tools, where you have to put in the amount of calls, you have to put in the up to date, you have to put in the follow up. I've been there, I've done that. We're not a very large company, so we really don't need, all of these tools. We're very hands on, and a lot of the customers appreciate that. They appreciate speaking to people, to a person,
Yeah.
uh, as opposed to do one, two, three, four, five. I mean, you have to do that because technology, but we're not that big, large in order for us to implement these type of sales uh, tools, as they say.
Right. Okay, I get that. That makes sense then. And that's one thing too that I've heard quite frequently is that there's this rehumanization of the sales process where people are getting a little bit more one-on-one in their conversations.
And from my experience, by using those tools in the past, it made life very complicated, for me anyway. You
Right.
know, Listen, I'm going to be upfront with you, okay? I don't know if you looked at my birth date when you checked me up on LinkedIn, but I'm not a young spunk, okay? I still wear running shoes, but I'm 71 years old. I'm still in the business because I enjoy it, okay?
Fair
And
enough.
doesn't let me go because Mancini, I lose you, I lose my business. I said, but let's talk percentage if you want to sell it. He says, well, we'll talk about it when we get there. I said, okay, thanks. So a lot of the stuff that I learned, and like I said, one of my, how do you say that? I'm looking for the word, benefits is that I have the ability to speak to people. I have the ability to go in there and make cold calls. And that's how I taught my reps too, you
Yeah.
know, because I think we've lost in the business right now because of the cell phones, because of all the tools. And I don't mean to be old fogey here. I sell internet, so I'm still, in the business.
Yeah.
Um, we're missing some of that human touch. You know, uh, it's nice. It's nice to talk to people over the phone, but it's also nice to meet them face to face and say, "Hey, this is who Tony Mancini is. You like me, you like me. You don't like me, cancel the order." I don't know. So this is where we're at. And
Yeah.
it's between you and I, Devon. It's too late to change Joseph and his process. I don't know how many more years we have in the market, but while we're here, we're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. That
I'm
makes
telling
sense.
you the truth. I mean, not beating around the bush.
Yeah, and that's helpful to understand, especially from the bird's eye view level of just looking at the way the market is going. What are some of the trends and what's coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, some of the trends, like there's been a lot of explosion of condo buildings here in Montreal.
Yeah.
Bell and Videotron. And by the way, this is via experience. So they put in a 500,000. They put it in the bank on the side and say, okay, when you're ready to put the shovel in the ground, here you buy it. You buy the fiber, you install it, and when you're finished, let me know. And Videotron does the same thing. Uh, because Videotron here is a regulated company because they have the monopoly on cable, like I don't know, maybe Rogers or Shaw out in the West. But
Yeah.
now Rogers bought Shaw. Uh, we had access to that. So we could sell our services in these new multi floor condo buildings, but we didn't have access to the one of Bell because Bell is regulated on the voice side. They were one of the first ones. They built their own fiber in these buildings, so they were telling the CRTC, uh, "No, we built the fiber. The fiber side is not regulated. So if Memotech, if Goldenet wants access to my fiber, they have to install their own because I'm not going to give it to them." So just lately, as of the month of April, we received a communique from a division of Bell called iSpaces. They informed us that right now we have access to what they call, you have FTTN, which is fiber to the node, where Bell is going to bring the fiber to the corner and then feed the internet over chicken wire to the house. But now they have what they call FTTP, which is fiber to the to the presence. So it is fiber to fiber. So now we have access to that. So we can sell that. So it's going to change and give us opportunities, to build on a business. Now I can go back to my customers or resellers and say, listen, now we have another facet, that we can give you that you can have access to. If a customer calls me, we're a condo building X, now I can service this guy, you know?
Yep.
We, as a reseller, we have access to what they call the Bell portal. We have a network that's called a gateway access. It's a gateway service access. Every time we sell, say, an FTTN, which is a DSL, and we only sell it only if I can't sell cable because one of the worst products in the market, we're trying to get rid of it. It goes through our gateway access service, and then we process the information, and we put it onto our 10 gig pipe that goes to the internet. So now it opened up another door for us, another opportunity, where now we can have access to a different market as opposed to cable and DSL, and our fiber is our fiber. So this is what I'm working on right now with iSpaces, with Bell Canada, because we want them to install an access in our data center so that we can test the modem and see how the service reacts as compared to the old technology.
Wow.
But they told me that right now this FTTP is not available everywhere, so you have to be patient in our case. But I can go on to go on their portal, put in an address, and it says, okay, yes, it's supported. Now this FTTP, you go up to speeds up to 1 gig, on fiber.
Right.
So, it opened up another, and the price, believe me, the bond, I freaked out when I almost fell over my chair. It costs more to install it than for the monthly. And we could
Wow.
mark up. Yeah. So I don't know what Bell's doing in the Alberta market or the TELUS market, but here in Quebec, the CRTC kind of forced them to give companies like ours access to this product.
Yeah, well, and I see how that can be an issue, uh, giving one company too much power. And like, I understand that to some degree, them investing in the infrastructure is important, as we
Mm.
do need these things and we need somebody with the resources to be able to make that happen. But to lock it down and make it impossible for other businesses to compete, I'm sure that there's some challenges that poses.
Yeah.
Looking into the future, Tony, I'm curious to kind of get your perspective on, what are some of the goals for the work that you're doing? Where are you headed, and what kind of a timeline is on that?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm 71.
Yeah,
The Joseph is 76, going on 77. We're still enjoying success compared to the size of company we are. We're profitable.
yeah,
Okay. Uh, I'd like to see, and I'm trying to convince Joseph to invest a little more in the network
Mm,
because if we're going to go after these customers, FTTP, then we need the horsepower again on our side. So you know, 10 to 15,000 for a Bell is like buying a coffee at the supermarket. For us, 10 to 15,000 is he's got to make a decision to spend it.
yeah.
The the future will depend on how much time I have left. Yes, and that's where it is, and we'll pass the baton to somebody else. And in our market right now, Bell has bought up a lot of the e-box, which are smart resellers, e-box, Virgin, and what they do, they market these products in a at a different level of a different market. It's like Telus and Kudu.
Mm,
Telus is the number one product. Kudu is, oh, I can't afford my $70 a month. Then I'll sell it for 35 on the same network. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is where the market is going. We're probably, believe it or not, one of the last companies left. You know that that are left to be bought. But we're
Right.
a different animal. We have our own facility, as opposed to the other companies were resellers on paper. So it was easier for Bell to take e-box because they didn't have to do any transfer
Yeah.
of customers. You know, so I don't know if it answered your question, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. To wrap things up here, Tony, you've been very generous with your time and your wisdom. And for that, I'm very grateful. In closing, I'd love for you to share, if you could, one piece of advice for somebody who's in a similar role as you, who's facing some of these new challenges to grow their business. What advice would you offer them?
Well, my number one advice is you have to be human. Okay, you have to be honest. You have to be able to confront when you have a problem and not hide in a corner. Uh, you need to see customers face to face. I'm not saying all the residential customers, but I would say the majority of the business customers, because these are the people that give you the bread and butter.
Yep.
And overall patience. You know, people today they want things done too fast. To give you the example, when we I heard about the University of Montreal project, I heard about it in 2004. We closed it in 2009, 2008.
Wow,
So
that is a great deal of patience.
that's a different level of selling.
Yeah.
But you have to be patient. Whether it's a small or large customer, to me they're all the same. I go in the elevator and I meet the superintendent, the janitor, and I'll talk to him as I'm talking to. I'll give you an example. I'm knocking on doors in this building at 1255 Phillips Square here in Montreal. So this tall guy walks into the elevator, and I look up to him. I said, "Excuse me, sir, but do you own an office? Do you own a business in this building?" He says, "Yeah, I own the whole thing." So I said, "Okay, then I think you and I should talk." AVG Shlomo, the restaurant management. And yeah, I'm telling you, these guys are human. People are afraid to talk to people today. Like, oh, give me a call on the phone, send me an email. No, I want to talk to you. Set up an appointment. Give me some preliminary information before I come in, so I don't come in like a dud. We sit there looking at each other for 20, 30 seconds. So that's the human factor. It's very important.
Love that. That's very sound advice. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, Tony, to pick your brain or maybe work with you in the future, how would they do that?
Just give me a phone call.
Just knock on your door.
My wife answered they have the wrong number. No, it's you can give them my information, my telephone number, 514-943-5334. Or send me an email. I'll give you my private email because I'm an independent consultant and I want to mix kind of the other business. It's tmancini@hotmail.com.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll make sure to link to all that in the show notes. As for us, if you want to get in touch with me and my team, it is nextgengrowth.com. And otherwise, that's it for this episode. And I will see you in the next.